What's going on, guys? I'm Femi the Agent
I'm Femi the Realtor.
on another episode of Sneakers and Real Estate. Two of my favorite things that I love to talk about. You guys know we both love sneakers. We wear them, we collect them, we buy them. The ones we don't wear, we end up selling them back. So fresh off of a little bit of a hiatus, but here we are. We're back. Today we're going to be talking about the Air Max 1 Anniversary Edition. Any sneakerhead knows Air Max is probably one of the most comfortable sneakers. I think these originally dropped in 1986. So I was 12 then. Of course, I couldn't afford them. It was five of us. I'm Nigerian. That's a whole nother story. These are re-released in 2017, the anniversary edition. Really comfortable sneaker, really dope. These I've worn all over the place. They've been on a lot of foreign soil, Jamaica, DR, a few other countries, but really, really classic OG colors. Really cool. The colors, bubble, everything. Nice sneaker. I think it's one that you definitely need in your arsenal. So if you could grab a pair of these, I definitely suggest that you grab a pair. We're gonna be talking real estate today with my son, figure out what's going on in the market.
Right now, still a good time to buy and sell. Rates FHA being a little bit over 6.5%. Between, a little over 6.5, but not farther than 6.75. Conventional, a little under 6.5. Not exceeding six, maybe 6.25, maybe around like 6.3. VA loans are around 6.5%. So still a good time to buy, still a good time to sell. I'm working with a few people looking to rent, depending on your situation, everybody's situation is different. So, if you're looking to do something or you're going to be somewhere set, especially with your job, or if you have kids and, they're going to be pretty stationary for a little while, I wouldn't recommend to rent. Obviously you're not getting anything back for your money, anything tax return wise, or, any tax breaks on anything you're doing renting wise. And, you're essentially paying somebody else's mortgage when you could be paying your own mortgage. So, you'll look up after 3, 4 years and, all that money has gone to waste. You could have, put some money aside and saved up for a down payment and some closing costs and be paying your own mortgage, be in control of your own destiny and your own situation. You don't have to answer to anybody else's rules, but, you could do your own thing and it'll make more sense, even in the short term, even if you're looking to do something 3 to 5 years, it's your property. If you buy it at the right price, it'll always appreciate. You always get your money back that you put into it, opposed to you just renting. You're somewhat just giving out free money basically, because, like I said, you're not getting anything back in return. So, you definitely want to weigh out your options. If it is going to be something really, really short term, under a year, then, if you're not looking to lock yourself down into anything, then that would make sense. But anything exceeding that, I wouldn't suggest you just give away money when you could be, building something up or putting equity into something, putting money back into your own pockets and, making a profit on anything you're investing in. So,
There you have it, folks. Now, always a great time, just like he said. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, rent, whatever the situation is, depending on what you're looking to do, we can always try to give you an answer, try to give you some advice to help you navigate so that you can make a better informed decision. Without further ado, I have my friend. I don't call a lot of people in this business a friend of mine. She's not a colleague. Friend, hustler. She does everything. So we're gonna dive into her story now. This is my buddy here, Michelle.
That's right.
Yeah. So if you wanna go ahead and tell
Well,
the people a little bit about yourself. What's going on, my friend?
all right. I'm a real estate broker, such as Femi. I met him many, many years ago. We've been friends ever since.
How many years now? Almost 20 years?
When he was this small, he used to come to the closings
Yep.
all the time with Femi, and I was so impressed. And I just heard the story that you took the test without your father knowing. So that's a huge. That's huge, and I'm impressed about that.
Thank you.
Not to mention how I got involved. This is years ago. my family was foreclosed. In 1998, my father, God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
He
That's
bought.
how you got into the business.
Yes. We had he had a printing business right there on Utica Avenue. And,
my broken heads know where that is.
That's right. Yeah. Star Printing on Utica Avenue.
Nice.
And, from that, him and my mother, they bought a lot of properties right here in Bed-Stuy.
Nice.
10 houses. But one mistake happened and it affected our home. Next thing you know, we got the notices. 72 hours, sheriff coming to our house.
Wow.
15 minutes.
To pick up whatever you can.
Whatever we can. We could not be on the front porch. We had to stay at the neighbor's house.
Wow.
Watching everything just empty
kind of
out.
Unfold in front of you.
Right in front of us. But, God is good.
Amen. All the time.
My grand aunt, who lived to see 100 years old,
God bless
she
her.
gave us $30,000 to start over. We
Nice.
still had the business, still the printing shop still running. And
what year was this? That you gave
this
30,000?
1998.
Okay.
It happened April 14th, 1998. And
wow.
A lot of people that I serve, they say, "Oh, Michelle, you don't understand what's going on." I tell them my story.
I do the same thing.
Because we understand the situation. We understand waking up in the emotions and in denial, because we was in a lot of denial.
Right.
And my mother, she's still alive, thank God. She's doing well.
Amen.
But she always thinking and going back to the past, what ifs and what she could have done.
But you know what it is, Mish? You really can't go in the past, because at
Correct.
the end of the day, it's like hindsight is 20/20.
Yep.
So none of us knows, you and I were just talking off camera that, me also born in Brooklyn, lived in Nigeria for 8 years, came back to Brooklyn. My dad owned a couple of brownstones actually out here in Bed-Stuy too. Mm-hmm. And back in the early 80s, he was having problems with a lot of the tenants.
Yeah.
And he actually gave a lot of those properties back to the banks.
Yeah.
And this was the early 80s when these brownstones were going for under 200,000, under 250,000.
Yeah.
He now lives in Connecticut, and every time when he comes back here, when I take him through the area, mm-hmm. and I tell him what some of these houses are worth, he almost wants to kick himself.
That's
none of us know. And I think when you're going through it, like you said, you're trying to find a way out.
Yes.
And you don't really know what to do.
Yep.
And you figure that's the best thing that you can do mm-hmm. when you're going through it, because mm-hmm. we weren't brought up to know certain things, to be able to navigate our way through real estate when it comes to the business aspect mm-hmm. of it. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That being you, that being me, even my son. I mean, with my son, I'm trying to help him as best as I can.
Right.
I got my license a month before he was born, as you know.
Yes.
And, the people out there also know. So when you guys got foreclosed on, where did, you said your neighbor gave 30,000?
No, it was my grand aunt.
Your grand aunt gave 30,000.
She gave us 30,000. She was saving it up. And at that time I was young, still trying to figure it out.
Right.
You trying to figure things out. But we, from that, we ended up in Queens. My father had a friend that made us stay into a room. Mm. And from a house to a room.
That's a big transition.
It was something.
Yeah.
But through it all, I had to figure things out and said, this will never, ever happen to me or anyone that I know again. So I took it upon myself to learn the industry.
Right.
And primarily what I do is foreclosure prevention.
Foreclosure and short sales, right?
Short sales.
Okay.
We try to figure it out first.
To try to see what makes the most sense.
What makes the most sense.
Right.
If they can't afford the property, we could try to work out solution, or try to do loan modification, or we try to figure it out. But I always tell the people, if you know that you can't afford it, you could start over. Get something out of it than nothing.
Well, you know what it is? I think a lot of people, you fight it mm-hmm. in the beginning, because I think embarrassment sometimes sinks in. For a lot of us also, ignorance and lack of education.
Yes.
And you're worrying about what everybody else will think. But, for us, for somebody like you, because I know you personally, I know your intentions, I know your character. I'm the same way. For us, it's not about trying to push somebody into getting out of the house is like you said, if you are looking to stay, we're going to try to figure out a way to make sure that you stay. But at the end of the day, realistically, if you're not in a position to financially, then why are we trying to,
exactly
stress the inevitable?
The thing is, the most embarrassing thing is when the sheriff is coming.
Sure.
And on my block, we were a family, 52nd Street. Shout out to my 52nd Street family.
Well, I went to Tilden, so I know what it is.
Yes, right there. And we were a family, so everybody's out. They looking, they're crying, because we all were one family.
Because it's so tight-knit.
Yeah.
I know how those blocks are.
And from that, the embarrassment. So that's more embarrassment. So I tell people, let's figure it out. Let's see if you could start over. I had a lot of clients that they tried everything and they came back to me and said, you know what, Mish, let's sell the property. Let's see what we could do and start over. Because there is a start over. In life, you just continues. The world still spins.
It doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop.
And I think if you try to get ahead of it, like you said, I mean, back years ago, I don't really know how it is now. I haven't done a bunch of short sales as of late, but back in the days, a lot of the banks would give you what they call relocation money. So they would help you. The banks and also with yourself would help a homeowner get started again. I don't know how that is now. And that's what we always try to push, try to advocate for.
Absolutely. And the banks is willing to work with you. Right. But a lot of people, they don't want to, they're scared to call the banks and to try to find a solution. And matter of fact, my company is Mish Solutions. Yes. Because there's always a solution. Always. And, we work together. And that's the beauty of us being brokers, is working together to help the situation and help the cause, because interest rate is very high right now. Yes, we all know that. Things happen. Things could happen. People could lose their job in an instant. Illness is a lot of situations that happens on a daily basis. Sure. So, I try to be have empathy for people, because again, it happened to me.
Well, you know what it is. I think, like I said, back to the two of us again. For us, we're human beings first before anything else. Before the business, before real estate checks, before anything else. It's always, we try to approach everything from a human perspective. If somebody's going through a financial situation, let's sit down and have a conversation. And we're having a conversation, and it's something that's confidential, to try to see what are the options that's available. You want to try to stay in this house, but financially, you're not in a position to. I mean, look at some of the people that you and I both know that passed away during COVID, that were thinking that they were going to stay in their houses, or some of the homeowners that didn't want to sell and say, you know what, I'm going to wait another 6 months, another year until I amass this amount of equity. And then, with everything that happened, they're no longer here.
Yeah.
So.
Reality.
Yeah.
Reality.
Yeah. So, so I know you lived in Brooklyn. Were you born in Brooklyn?
Yes.
Okay.
Born in Brooklyn.
That I didn't know.
Yep. Born in Brooklyn, raised in Jamaica.
Okay.
So, and I was young when I came back, went to school in Brooklyn. Okay. And my family back and forth in Jamaica.
How long did you live in Jamaica?
Actually, they shipped me off when I was 6 months.
Really?
Yes, but I was young when I came back. And again, I was back and forth going to Jamaica. So, my Jamaican roots is there. And, again, I'm from Brooklyn and Jamaican.
Well, listen, I just like you, I'm born in Brooklyn. I lived in Nigeria, went to Nigeria when I was 2, stayed there for 8 years and came back here. Right. And my friends call me a fake Nigerian, so don't feel bad. I deal with it all the time. And then we got a chef here too. Shout to Chef Dev. We're gonna be talking about this. So we love the food, we love the culture, we love everything about it. So once you left Jamaica, you said, well, once you guys left Brooklyn, you moved to Queens.
We moved to Queens in a 1-bedroom. It was 1 bedroom that we shared. It was it's a small single bed that I shared with my mother, because it was myself, my mother, My father, he was in a basement and we were separated for 7 months. But again, the 30,000 that was given to us by my grand aunt, that's when I was in a position, because my credit was better than everybody else's at that time. I was still young, very young. And I went looking for houses I didn't know. And what you don't know, you don't know. This mortgage
Learn on the
broker,
fly.
yep, this mortgage broker tried to take advantage of me financially in every which way.
Wow.
In every which way. He did take advantage of me, telling me I have to buy down points. I have to give him money. And yeah, I was now, because I'm in the industry,
Right.
now I know.
Right.
So again, I had to go through that journey in order for me to have a story, in order for me to help others. You know, even us being foreclosed, my uncle Harold, he said to me that, well, let me just rewind. The realtor that was the REO broker, which is the real estate owned broker, that was, he was the one supposed to take us out of our home.
Okay.
Okay. He worked for my uncle. When he came from Jamaica, he worked for my uncle.
Oh, wow.
So when he came to our home, we thought he came in with good spirits and, you know, good intentions, good motives and everything else, not knowing that Citibank had hired him to take us out of the house.
Wow.
Yeah. So when the moving trucks came, he was down the block watching the whole thing.
Wow.
And he could have helped us, but he didn't.
Wow. And he's supposed to be like family.
Correct. Yes. And my uncle said to me, during the time, you should write a letter to him and say thank you.
Thank you.
I was like, thank you? Why should I say thank you to somebody that could have helped us? And, you know, I was upset.
Of course.
But years later, look at the power of God. He lost his business, unfortunately. I became a real estate broker. And I wish I could write that letter. Because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
I mean, like you said, everything kind of comes full circle.
Everything just came right back.
Wow.
It spins.
It does. It definitely does.
Spins.
It's funny that you said about you know, you guys live in a 1-bedroom, because when I came back from when we came back from Nigeria, we were living in a 1-bedroom in on Forster and East 24th, right off of Flatbush, where they have footprints that around the corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think it was 7 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
From there, that we just kind of try to move on and move up and move up and move up. But you know, the stories are very similar. So I guess that situation of what happened to you, what you guys get foreclosed, that's what I guess prompted you to get into the business?
Yes.
Okay.
Mind you, like I said, like your dad, we had properties, but on the other end, my father wasn't a broker or agent.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
No.
Did he do real estate?
No.
Oh,
We owned a printing shop.
Oh yeah,
we owned a printing shop in Utica, and that's why they sent me to Jamaica when I was a baby.
Wow.
Because the shop is a year older than me.
Really?
So they made me go to Jamaica for my grandmother to take care of me in order to establish the business.
Oh wow.
Because my father, he was a man that did not want his children to work for anyone.
Okay.
And I was telling you the story, when I went to school, I did co-op, and he was livid. He was so upset knowing that I worked for anybody. So what he did, he called up my guidance counselor and he said, you know, we have a business here in Brooklyn, you know, and Michelle is not working for anyone. And what are you paying her?
I feel like I hear the accent right now on the phone with him.
Yes. And he says, you know what? Let you pay her while she work at my company. And he made it happen.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He did not want any of his, it's my brother and I. And no, we could not work for anyone.
So your dad was gangster.
Yeah.
Low-key gangster.
Oh, yeah.
Business gangster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they try to, you know, my mother, she and my father, they both, you know, put it in us to, you know.
Well, they instilled the, I think, the entrepreneurial spirit
Yes.
in you guys.
Yes.
You know, my dad kind of did the same thing. Like for me, I've been working since I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
Worked as a paper boy
Mm-hmm.
when we lived in Coney Island.
Mm-hmm.
Did summer youth, did all those different things. Well, you know, us coming up too, there was 5 of us. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Mhm.
So everything that I wanted, you know, I'm always talking about sneakers.
Yes.
My dad was not buying me the sneakers that I wanted. He would buy me the, you know, I could ask him for Jordans, but he's gonna buy me the Jordan off days. He's gonna buy me the slippers. he's not gonna buy me the sneakers that I wanted. So for me, it was kind of like, you know, trying to get out there early to start to earn my own money and kind of earn my own keep.
Right.
And I think that's kind of part of what forced me like to leave home when I was 17. You know, feeling like I knew everything.
Right. Right.
But with the real estate and just with your journeys and some of the stuff that you went through, what would be, I guess, the advice that you would give to anybody that's number one going through something and needs and
need
can't
help.
figure it out and needs help,
Well,
and also somebody looking to get into the business?
first thing, as far as needing help, seek help, get help, call us.
We're here to help folks.
Call. Femi's here all the time. He does his podcast. I'm here. We both help people out of foreclosure.
Her husband's here too. He also does real estate. So
My husband been in the business for many, many years. What really bothers me is when people know me and know what I do, and it happened. What I thought was a close friend
it happens to both of us.
got foreclosed.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I can also tell you a story off it.
I heard that they got foreclosed, and I actually called and I said, "Did you get foreclosed?" "Yeah, Mish." And I'm like, "Why? You know, this is what I do for a living. We stop foreclosures. We stop the bank."
It's pride.
You know?
Well, I don't know what they told you, but pride.
I know it's embarrassment, but like I said, the embarrassing is when the sheriff is telling you, and this sheriff that came to my home, he was 6 foot. He had to be at least, my brother's 6 foot. Michael is 6'1" or 6 foot. He had to be at least 6'3", 6'4". He was, all I saw was, I know I'm petite, but a man, tall man with a gun by his side.
Ah, okay.
That was scary.
Well, last time you saw that when you were back in Jamaica?
With the gun. Every day. Yeah. And giving us 15 minutes to depart from the house. And all my mother thought about was me. She grabbed a garbage bag and she tried to put as much clothing and underwears and stuff like that in a garbage bag. And he said, "That's it." And she left with the garbage bag with my clothes, didn't get anything of her clothes. And I remember the old phones, the cordless phone. Mm-hmm. She had the bag and she was so nervous that she had the phone in her hands. Wow. And that was it. And I remember my one thing, my father always said, keep our passports close by.
Right. You don't know when you might need them, right?
At least we could, I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe we could fly to Jamaica. I don't know. But he always said, keep your passports close by. And it's a habit of yours now. Of me. Always, for some reason, I always have my passport close by because that was something that I guess he always told us to do. So it's always.
Well, he preached it for whatever reason.
Yeah, he always, my passport up to this day, my passport is on my desk. Wow. It doesn't go anywhere. It's on my desk. If you come to my house, you'll see my passport on my desk. Wow. Wow. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. But as far as someone getting in the business, this is, to me, I always say I was brought up in real estate. real estate is in my blood.
Mhm.
I love real estate. Real estate, where can you, I mean, real estate is, first of all, AI cannot take away real estate.
Never, ever.
Never, ever, ever. Someone always need a place to live, period.
At the end of the day, always.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you are, what part of the world you are, you got to sleep somewhere. Nobody wants to sleep in the streets.
Okay. So you know what it is with I think the beautiful thing about real estate, you know, I always try to tell people when they're looking to get into the business is that there is no ceiling. And then for some also, that's the good and the bad. The bad part of it is that there is no ceiling.
Yeah.
So like you want to be your own boss and you want the freedom, you know, you can have all that. But if you're not putting in the work, you're going to be the same way you started off is how you're going to end up. You're still going to be broke.
Absolutely.
So the work still has to be there. You still always have to have that work ethic. It doesn't matter what you do. Real estate, car salesman, chef, whatever you're doing. If the work ethic isn't there,
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter. And that's what I always try to preach to people. Anyway, like you said, it doesn't matter anything about AI or, you know, you want to stay on your phone and make reels all day and you want to make it look like you're busy. But if you're not working,
you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. Some nights I'm up 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I'm putting in the work. You know, it's, I just told you that my husband, he still knock on doors.
after how many years?
Old school.
Old school. Shouts to Keith.
Old school. I mean, he still knock on doors. We still do the mail-ins. We still do everything that we can to tell people that we're here to help.
Well, for I can indirectly call myself a dinosaur, and I'm sure you do the same. Keith does the same. So, you know, we'll never lose the old school way of doing things. And, you know, you do your best to improve on it. But, you know, that's the one thing that, like you said, AI, it doesn't matter what it is. That'll never replace anything. Having a conversation with people and, you know, coming from a genuine place, it lets people know that, you know, you really do care and you really are looking to help them. I mean, there's a lot of people that I've helped that I got nothing out of it. There was no check. There was nothing that came out of it. And I'm sure you have stories as well.
All the time.
So
all the time. I put in work. You know, again, with like what I do, like I said, I'm a real estate broker, but my specialty is foreclosures. And I could be talking to someone and talking to the bank and putting my all into it, doing paperwork. And next thing you know, they say, well, their attorney says, and of course their attorney, would they feel because an attorney take, I don't know if it's the degree or whatever it is, but they figure that their attorney says, and next thing you know, they get foreclosed. I see the foreclosures and I was like, wait a minute, this is the same person I spoke with last month.
Right.
You know, so that's where, you know, I feel really bad for, or a person that's of age, you know, doing 80 years old, they have a reverse mortgage. Right. And now they're facing a foreclosure situation, you know, things like that. You know, I take it a little personal.
Do you think now with the with real estate, with the foreclosures and short sales, that they've kind of gone to the side over the last couple of years? Do you think now that it's a little bit easier to help people when it comes to foreclosure situations, or harder?
Absolutely more easier.
It's easier.
It's easier. It's easier. The banks are more, they're listening. They're listening. Because I know for years. They need help.
I know for years, because when I used to negotiate short sales myself, and I've done over 100 of them myself, me personally. There was a time where they seemed like they weren't listening, where I would put a situation together and get an offer for them on a house that's in foreclosure, see them not accept it, and then 6 or 7 months later, watch the same house get sold for less money.
Well, they're listening now. Most of the banks, I would say, perfect example. There's a particular institution, large institution, begins with a W, ends with a S. They did not want to do the short sale at all.
I know a few of the WM banks.
Yep. They did not. They did not want
They didn't want to do short sale.
They refused to do the short sale. So I got the letter as a third party authorization person saying that they're not willing to do the short sale or any loss mitigation due to a third party.
Who's the third party?
Who's the third party? I couldn't get any answer. I took it personal because I'm like, okay, so now you're not willing to work with this person because of a third party. So I took it to my attorney and I put the bank in litigation and won.
You guys hear that?
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. I won the case, and now they were willing to do the short sale.
Nice.
Because they saw Mish Solutions or they saw Oreo First Choice. So they saw that. So they're saying third party. So I could only assume it was me.
It was you. Unbelievable. Yeah. So after all these years, because I'm 22 years in, and you got me by a couple of years.
Yep.
What drives you at this point when it comes to real estate?
God, helping people. Like I said, because of what I do, I just like to see people. I just want to help. I just, as long as they're listening.
If they're willing, yeah. If they're willing to listen. I'm the same way.
If you're willing to listen, I'll go the extra mile. You know, I'll push. I'll do anything. And what makes me feel great at the end of the day is when a person can sell the house.
Get a fresh start.
And then call me back. Hey, Mish, I'm looking for that new house. Their credit is restored and they buying another house. I have one lady, she had, she fought. Mm-hmm. She did everything. Loan modification, she fought for this house.
To keep it?
To keep it. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? When you're ready, let me know. Let's do the steps. Do the loan modification. And if it doesn't work, I'm the last person. She called me up. She said, Mish, I'm done. So let's make it happen. And we sold her house. She got a rental. Seriously, 2 years in, she called me back and she got a bigger house.
Nice.
Bigger house than the house that she was fighting for.
Nice.
Same thing with us. Love my 52nd Street. My parents fought for the house. Ended up in West Hempstead. Bigger house.
Well, we always, you know what it is, Mish, like you said, I think when you're going through something, you can't see anything on the other side.
Yeah.
But when you come through on the other side, even if you're scared, mm-hmm. you know, there's always bigger and better on the other side of it. Yeah. But when you're going through it, it just seems very difficult, and it seems like there's nothing else that's ever going to come from this whole situation, and I'm never going to get better. And like you said, sometimes it could be a house. It could even be a car. You know, us as realtors, mm-hmm. everybody, you know, you kind of have this, I don't know what they call it. They put it out there. They say it's like a realtor starter kit. You're supposed to have a white BMW and a specific belt and a specific watch. And you're worrying about what people are thinking. But it's like when you're going through something, you have to be smart enough to say, you know what, there's a reason that I'm going through this. And if I need to give all this up to be able to start over and get a fresh start, sometimes that's what I need to do. And then you put yourself in a situation where you can actually get better. I had, when I got licensed in 2002, I had bought a multifamily in 2005, I think. Two, actually. One we bought, and then I bought another one with a friend of mine. And then the market crashed. Mm-hmm. Market crashed. The tenant isn't paying. Mm-hmm. So now I still have to pay the mortgage on my primary house, mm-hmm. and also the mortgage on these multifamilies. So you say to yourself, you know what, this is becoming too much. So maybe I need to get out of this situation and sell the houses and let them go. Mm-hmm. And then you can put yourself in a situation where you can actually rebound, because then it wasn't something that was just happening to you. It was happening to really the whole world.
Yes.
But a lot of people sometimes don't understand that. And, you know, I just try to tell people, you know, don't let your ego and your pride mm-hmm. cause you so many heartaches and sometimes things that you don't need to go through, because they know somebody like yourself. They know somebody like myself who will do whatever they need to do, like you said, to push tooth and nail to help them get up as best as we can anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I've learned, like I said, maturity of being in this business is, and because of what happened in my past, is I try not to be attached.
Okay.
Because sometimes we get attached to things. Could be anything. And we get attached and we don't want to let go. And like I said, most of my clients that come to me, they don't know my story. They only see this realtor, but they don't understand or know what we've been through as a family, because it affected the family. And again, my neighbors and everything else is, that at the end of the day, it's something great. We don't know what's going to come out of it, but it's something great. And it's, like I said, a start. So I do have, like, most of my clients, we become friends. We friends. We become friends. I'm godmother to a lot of children.
Nice. Nice.
Yes, I am.
It's funny. It was I put up a story the other day. The house that we used to live in, the first house that he knows that we lived in. This was I sold the house in 2005. So that's 15, 20, 18, 19 years ago, 20 years ago. I was talking to the guy that bought the house. I spoke to him 2 days ago. I actually went to the house because something came there and we were talking. So, when you tell people that your reputation, like how serious you take that, if it was a house that I sold them that was a lemon or had a bunch of problems, I'm sure we wouldn't still be speaking up to this day. And I've been in the business 22 years. So, you try to share your stories. And like you said, you try to come from a genuine place. Yeah. And the ones that buy into you and buy into what you're selling are the ones that you're supposed to have around you. And like you said, when it comes to certain situations, you do your best to unattach yourself from it, because neither one of us ever want to feel like we want something more from a person than they want for themselves. Right. And I think when people realize that, then they can say, you know what? Oh shit, this person really is genuinely trying to help. Yes. And I never, like I said, you never want a person to ever feel like you're working out of desperation, because then that also comes across. And now they feel like they can maybe deal with you a certain way. And it's like, for me, it's much more than a check. It's not that serious. Definitely. 100%. I have, like I said, he's a good friend of mine. When we met, he was just a client, but we're dear friends. And I remember we went to a house, and the house was, oh my God, it was, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I was like, you gonna buy this? He said, yeah, Mish. I said, don't buy it, please. Don't buy it. He said, you'll be all right. He said, I'll be all right. He said, Mish, you'll be all right. I said, oh my God. He said, just put in the offer for me. I said, I don't think I can. He was like, you'll be all right. And he still have the house. Nice. Still have the house. We talk about it all the time, and we became, that's my homeboy. Nice. We become, like, everybody that I've served, they always call me back. It's always, I have one client, I got the whole family house. And it's that energy. That's what I love about real estate. You ask me a question, and it's just helping everybody, and just, sometimes, like I told you, I don't even advertise. People just know me. Word of mouth. I'm trying to get out that shell, though. Yeah, we need to get out the shell. She's never done an interview before. Never. So today was the first time. How do people get a hold of you? Well, what I would say, social media, and inbox me, Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I usually on the what? Mish Solutions or Michelle DeLisser, DeLisser. People call me Mish. Okay. People call me Mish. Okay. That's my nickname that my family calls me, and my friends, my close friends. And inbox me. You can find me. Okay.
It's a small world. If you need help, I'm here. Femi's here. We both here to help. If you're in a situation,
They gotta go on the roof and pull out that put that sign up. For
just
Mish.
You'll find me.
Okay.
Help me. I understand. We'll figure it out. We'll call the banks and we'll see how we could, save the property or sell the property or get you that loan modification that you could have that fresh start.
Okay. Thank you again, Mish, for your time. We appreciate you. We had to get you out of your shell and get you in front of all the people.
Thank you, Femi.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Guys, if you're looking to buy or sell, you can reach out to myself or you can reach out to my son. For me, it's Femi the Agent on all socials. Number is 917-337-3727.
Femi the Realtor on Instagram, and my number is 516-662-6824.
Let me give out my number as well.
You might as well.
Might as well.
You're not a secret agent.
I'm not a secret agent. I'm going to give you my office number, 516-483-5400. I do have 2 companies, Mish Solutions and REO First Choice. I'm the broker for both companies.
Have a great day, guys. Stay safe.